Over the years, Jason Voorhees has hacked, slashed, and terrorized his way through countless sequels, each with a slightly different look. From burlap sacks to battle-damaged hockey masks, his design has evolved just as much as his kill count. Today, I'm highlighting Jason's 10 most iconic looks and sharing some cool behind-the-scenes details along the way. Starting at the bottom end of this list is a very iconic look, but one that I really do not like. I'm talking about the Uber Jason from Jason X, or Jason Goes to Outer Space. After de-thawing on a spaceship and taking some serious battle damage, Jason is revived by a futuristic machine giving him the ultimate sci-fi makeover. And to be honest, this makeover was really not for the better. I hate basically everything about it besides the orangish red eyes that he has. I get it, this movie takes place hundreds of years in the future, and this franchise really had nowhere else to go besides outer space, so your standards can't be too high for Jason's appearance, but this is just pretty rough. It's iconic, yes, but it has to be towards the bottom of this list. Next up, we've got young Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th, the original release. And a lot of people forget that he's really not in this movie until the very end. In the original Friday the 13th, Jason Voorhees is not the hulking, machete-wielding killer that we know today. Jason's appearance in this movie is brief, but it is absolutely unforgettable nightmare fuel. When he emerges from the lake in the film's shocking finale, Jason is pale and waterlogged with bloated, rotting skin and just stringy hair. This Kid in the Lake version of Jason Voorhees was created by legend Tom Savini, whose contributions to this franchise and horror as a whole are just monumental. The makeup was applied to Ari Lehman, who honestly had probably one of the coolest jobs ever at just 14 years old. This to me is just one of the most iconic endings in horror history ever, and something that I just learned is that Tom Savini was heavily inspired by the ending of Carrie. He wanted to give audiences one final jolt or one shocking moment before the credits would roll, and he did an excellent job with this look. Next on this list is the most recent production we've ever seen of Jason Voorhees, just this year in 2025. I'm talking about Jason Universe. This Jason Universe look was first revealed in the short film Sweet Revenge, which if you haven't seen yet, it's on YouTube. It is an awesome time. Jason Universe came to be after years of stalled projects with Friday the 13th because of legal battles between Victor Miller and Sean Cunningham. It's been nearly 20 years since we've last seen a Friday the 13th film, so understandably, the fans are very hyped about this. As I mentioned, there's only one film so far that has been released in Jason Universe, and it's just a 15-minute short film on YouTube. To design the look of Jason, a group of modern and legacy artists were brought together to bring this character back to life, one of the most notable designers being Greg Nicotero. Jason seems to be less of an undead zombie like what we see in some of the later entries of the Friday franchise, and is much more human, while also still being very intimidating. Super excited to see where this franchise goes. This next choice may make some people upset, but on my list next is Friday the 13th Part 3, which is the first time Jason ever wears a hockey mask. From a historical standpoint, this look is extremely significant as it laid the foundation for the rest of the franchise and for horror, and if you really think about it, there's nothing more iconic than a hockey mask killer. The funny thing about the hockey mask in this movie is that it completely came by chance. One of the guys working on set brought a New Jersey Devils mask as a prop to be used in the film, and director Steve Miner actually noticed it and really loved it. Red triangles were added and additional holes were punched into the mask, giving it the look that we see in the film. Underneath the mask, we do get a pretty awesome face reveal, which was heavily inspired by the look that Tom Savini did in Part 1. And the physicality that Richard Brooker brings to this role just makes this version of Jason absolutely terrifying. Nothing but respect for this look, because this really set the standard for things moving forward. Next up, we've got a little bit of a forgotten look, but one that I think is just so much fun. I'm talking about the Baghead Jason from Friday the 13th Part 2. This to me is one of the most underrated versions of Jason Voorhees, and this is the first time that we see him as a grown-up adult and the main antagonist in a Friday film. What I love about the burlap sack and the rest of his attire is that it really makes this movie feel like a creepy hillbilly backwoods type film. Before moving into the more supernatural, unstoppable Terminator direction that Jason Voorhees becomes, this one's a lot of fun because it's more so like a realistic, scary hermit hillbilly chasing these people down. That to me makes the story feel more grounded and makes it much more terrifying and unforgettable. Next on the list, we've got Friday the 13th, 2009. While the 2009 remake of Friday the 13th really did not deliver as a film, they did an excellent job with creating new and interesting looks for Jason. They even gave us a baghead Jason at the start of the film. The look I'm focusing on though is the hockey mask. The mask is very similar to the mask in part 3, but there's been some significant fading and damage to the mask. Jason's outfit matches the mask tone and is pretty ragged, matted, and beat up. I love the look of Jason in this film, but have to really highlight the physicality and presence that he has. Derek Mears, who played Jason in this film, stands at 6 feet 5 inches tall, and he is just an unstoppable beast in this movie. Next on the list, we've got Jason Lives. Jason Lives resurrects our slasher icon as a full-on zombie, and it is so much fun. He comes back from the dead wearing a dirty military green work shirt, faded tan pants, similar to what we saw in the final chapter. But behind this grimy hockey mask is just an absolutely disgusting makeup masterpiece. His flesh has started to ooze away and his body is infested with worms and maggots. Director Tom McLaughlin played this for both shock and a bit of camp. He envisioned Jason's revival as like a sweet spot between horror and comedy and really wanted to bring him back in a Frankensteinish way. And that's why we see this epic electric shock at the beginning of the film in the cemetery. While it can feel a little bit silly, mask on or off, I think this look of Jason is one of the most iconic and a very unforgettable masterpiece. Next up, we've got Friday the 13th Part 7. Although this is one of the worst movies in the franchise, this is one of the coolest looking Jasons that we have ever seen. The rotten zombie version of Jason that we just talked about in Part 6, well, he's been underneath a lake with a chain to his neck, stuck there, just deteriorating even more. And after being brought back from the dead, well, his look just gets even nastier. One of the coolest pieces about this look is the revealing bone that we see at the back of his neck and also at the front of his jaw. And how can I not mention that this is Kane Hodder's first appearance as Jason? While he may not be the tallest man like some of the people we've talked about before, Hodder brought this interesting movement and physicality and presence to the character unlike anybody else, creating some of the most incredible moments in this franchise. Coming in at the number 2 spot is Freddy vs. Jason. Freddy vs. Jason is the ultimate horror mashup, and to me, some of the best looks for both Freddy and Jason. This version of Jason takes a lot of the elements from the past and turns it into something new while giving it a very grimy and dirty edge. From the mask even down to his ragged clothes, they all feel very lived in and battle damaged. It also helps that Ken Kersinger stands at 6 feet 5. He's a very strong physical actor in this movie. And you know what? There's other moments too where he takes a step away from that intimidation factor and we actually feel bad for Jason. There's many moments in this where Freddy torments him or intimidates Jason, and he really speaks a lot without speaking. He uses his body language and movements in a very incredible way. This version of Jason takes us back to some of the earlier roots of Friday the 13th while giving it a more hulking presence and a fun modern twist. And finally, you guys, my number 1 favorite Jason Voorhees look is Ted White as Jason in Friday the 13th, the final chapter. Maybe I'm biased because this film to me is the absolute best in the entire franchise, but this look is unforgettable. We've got the same outfit Jason was wearing in part 3, but there's been a lot more battle damage to the mask and outfit, which I love. And above all else, the biggest standout to me is the amazing face reveal at the end of this movie. Tom Savini came back for part 4 to create this incredible look, which to me is the perfect match and follow-up to the boy in the lake look that we saw in the original film. This look to me managed to find the perfect balance between human and that more ghoulish, zombified, scary look that we see in some of the franchise's later entries, and it's incredible. Well, you guys, that is my official list. Those to me are Jason Voorhees' 10 most iconic looks. I would love to hear what yours are down below. And until next time, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.